Morning and welcome to this session of Business Bitesize. So this week I thought we'd use a practical tool, and I must admit I'm a bit inventive at times, and I like to when I come across a tool that I like to repurpose it. So this tool comes out of blue ocean strategy type thinking, and the idea with the blue ocean strategy is you effectively become a market disruptor. So you're looking for a completely new market. You're looking to really disrupt the industry completely in terms of what it does. And one of the tools that you use within that is the ERRC grid. And I've used this grid. I think it's quite a practical tool. I think it's good because it focuses on both what we can do more of and what we can do less of. And like a lot of the tools that we use, it takes the form of a quadrant or a grid. So what are the four areas? So the first grid is eliminate. So in this, if I could spell, in this quadrant, we're thinking about things that we need to eliminate. So if we're looking at the industry as a whole, the question would be, what does the industry do? What are norms within the industry that we frankly need to eliminate, either because they don't add customer value or they reduce customer value? So what do we need to eliminate? The second question then is, what things are happening that we need to reduce? What do we need to do less of? And that's something that I certainly talked about before. We tend to focus on doing more things all the time, and I often ask, well, what do we need to do less of? Third quadrant is raise. So what do we need to do more of? And then the fourth quadrant is, what do we need to create? So what things are not going on within the industry at the moment that we can start doing that would be new, that would disrupt the market because it would add customer value. So those are the four areas, four questions, if you like, that we need to think about. And as I said, we can use this as right at the very top level in terms of the industry. But of course, the same kind of thing, we can then bring it down to our own business. And I did a session recently with a client, and one of the things that we covered in that session was what were the values of the business. And we finished once we'd agreed what the values were. We wrote them down on the side, and then we said, okay, let's think about the behaviors. Let's think about the behaviors that our people, our organization needs to demonstrate to be able to show that we're consistent with those values. And so we then started to ask the question, so what behaviors do we need to eliminate because they don't accord with our values? We started identifying them. What behaviors do we need to reduce? What outcomes do we need to reduce, again, to line up with our values? What things do we need to do more of that are consistent with our values? And what kinds of behaviors, actions, activities are we not doing that we need to start doing to be consistent with our values? So there's another example of how we can use the grid. That's at a business level. Another very popular topic, of course, is time management. So again, I think this, from a personal level, the grid works equally well in respect of that question. And again, it's something I've talked about before. So if we look at time management, what sorts of things do we need to eliminate? So it might be some admin roles, admin tasks that we're carrying out that we just shouldn't be doing. What things do we need to reduce? So I'm going to put in there procrastination, because that's a very common thing. So we need to reduce procrastination as a behavior which impacts on our time in this case. Moving into raise, well, I think one of the favorite things there is planning. So we need to do more planning. Okay, we're very crisis driven, we're very deadline driven, and actually just taking some time to do some proper planning. This is COVID's time matrix type stuff. So more planning would help manage our time better. And finally, what things aren't we doing at the moment that we need to start doing? What new things could we be doing once we've eliminated and reduced some of those other activities? What does that give us the time to do? So I think it's, as I said, it's a tool that I've repurposed from another place, but I think it's a very powerful and practical tool. It can be used at industry level, can be used on our business, can be used on us individually. It can be used on a wide range of topics, and it does work because it allows us to think about those four questions. What things do we need to stop doing? What do we need to reduce? What do we need to do more of? And what do we need to start doing? So it looks, if you like, at both sides of the equation. It's not just focused on what more can I do? What more can I do to make this work? We have to think about the other side as well. So simple tool, quite practical, good to use in workshops, good to use yourself, and help you get some answers to some of the issues that you're facing. Thanks for listening.